Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Lords of the Night. With me, as always, your Lord of Punishment. Say hi, Scribe.
Hi, Scribe.
Your Lord of Pennies is here as well. Say hello, Satsu.
Hello, Satsu.
I'm your Lord of Pain, the Ranting Monkey, and we are here to provide you with entertainment for the next 2 hours and however many minutes we go over that, because sometimes we forget to stop. Hope everybody's well. Scribe, how you doing today?
I am doing well. I got to hang out with my sister this morning, and we went and had breakfast, and then did shopping and joked around, and it was nice. And then we talked to our parents over Skype video call or whatever, and we hadn't talked to them in a while, and they were fine. And then I did stuff and other stuff, and I'll talk about it later. And here I am. How are you, Satsu?
Pretty good. Today was a sleepy day. I spent a good majority of it napping, and so did the wife and the little one, which was nice. And I got up, played a little bit of video games, and now I'm here hanging out with you bastards.
And I made an awesome dinner.
And squishing it awesome dinner.
Hey, my parents were married. It's Monkey who's the bastard.
That's true. Hi, Squishy. Let's see. I didn't do much today. I slept. I woke up around 6:30 because I kept having really bad dreams. They were weird dreams, nothing like horrible, but at the end of each of them, people were getting shot. I think I've been watching too much news. Monkey Dick, Jim Jones, movies, video games. Hit the like button, you guys, and share our stuff because I have nightmares. Scribbles, speaking of news, anybody getting shot these days?
2 officers killed in shootout in South Texas border town.
Sounds about right.
2 police officers were shot and killed Saturday in a South Texas border town after reportedly responding to a disturbance call. The McAllen police officers were shot on the south side of the city and transported to an area hospital, said Lieutenant Christopher Oliveras, spokesman for the Texas Department of Public Safety. A suspect in the shooting was also shot, though that person's condition was not immediately available. Quote, "We have lost 2 brave public servants who sought only to keep peace in our city," unquote, McAllen Police Chief Victor Rodriguez told the McAllen Mirror. Oliveras said DPS sent troopers to secure the scene after the McAllen Police Department asked them for assistance. He said his agency received a call about the incident around 4:30 p.m. The investigation is ongoing. No further information was immediately available. Let me refresh on the off chance. No. So I was breaking as of about half an hour ago. So, yeah. That wasn't some kind of joke I pulled on Monkey. That was literally the first story I had up before he said his thing about his nightmares. So I figured.
And I didn't know that.
Yeah, I figured I'd just get that out of the way first. I was like, well, this is a very apt segue, but not the one not that I was looking for one, but there you go.
How long ago did you say it was breaking?
This was posted by the AP just 30 minutes ago. It was about, when I pulled it up, it was only 5 minutes old.
All right. Well, good luck to everybody.
Yeah. Moving on from that. Let's see. Let's talk about the title of the stream. Title of the stream. Trump wears a mask during visit to wounded service members at Walter Reed. This is headline news, guys.
Can we hear why it's a bad thing? I'll be fascinated.
That's what I was waiting for. I was like, we had nothing but stories about him not wearing a mask this long. Are we going to have it characterized as some kind of mocking or it's too late or something? Let's see. President Donald Trump paid a visit to wounded service members at Walter Reed National Military Medical Center on Saturday and wore a mask after months of refusing to be seen doing so in public. Quote, "I'll probably have a mask if you must know. I'll probably have a mask. I think when you're in a hospital, especially in that particular setting where you are talking to a lot of soldiers, people that in some cases just got off the operating table, I think it's a great thing to wear a mask. I've never been against masks, but I do believe they have a time and a place," unquote, Trump told reporters ahead of his visit. Trump was seen briefly in a mask while walking with staff who also were wearing masks at the medical center in Bethesda, Maryland. He did not make any remarks while wearing one. This is the first time since the pandemic began that the White House press corps got a glimpse of Trump with a face covering. The president's decision to wear a mask during his Saturday trip to the medical center comes after months of declining to publicly wear one against the recommendations of his own administration's public health experts.
who take their masks off all the time when they're not on TV, by the way.
Wait a minute. Wasn't what's his face saying for a while? I think it was like a month or two that wearing masks, like everybody shouldn't be wearing masks because it makes it harder for the hospitals to get them or whatever. Like, wasn't that something that was going on for a while?
Well, the N95 type, yeah. There was a shortage of that type that actually can conceivably protect from inhaling the virus. But masks in general, that I don't think the message was don't wear a regular mask. I think it was the N95 stuff, wasn't it?
There was talk at one time about there was no need to wear a mask.
He was saying masks in general, because they had asked him, like, what do you think about, people in public? And he was like, well, if you look at China or whatever and these other places, they wear masks all the time, like every day, pandemic or not. And it's not, people still get sick over there or whatever. So basically what he said is at the end of the day, like if you're out in public or whatever, unless you have COVID, you don't need to be wearing a mask.
But they changed that guidance just about a month ago, I think it was now.
Yeah.
Right.
Pincalo, thank you. Yeah, definitely wear one at Bethesda MC, STD Capital. No, I when they said where he was going, it's like, of course he's wearing a mask to the hospital. I get that they just want this. I saw one guy. Imagine how many deaths this could have saved if he had just done this earlier.
He doesn't have COVID,
right?
So
it saved zero. That's how many lives it would have saved.
Let's see. So the article then recites Trump's resistance regarding wearing a mask. Even after the federal government recommended Americans wear masks in places where social distancing is impossible, Trump declared he was unlikely to ever wear one himself. And even as some of his aides gently encouraged him to be seen following his own government's advice, Trump insisted wearing a mask would make him appear weak and give off the impression that he wasn't controlling the pandemic. The president has also ridiculed those who have worn one publicly, like 2020 rival Joe Biden. The White House insists that mask wearing isn't necessary for Trump since he and those around him are tested regularly for COVID-19. So, well, there you go.
Yeah, they get tested like daily, sometimes multiple times a day. I don't know how, what is it, 6 feet you have to stay away from people is what they tell you?
Yeah.
I don't know how often the president's that close to people. I don't care if he wears a mask, just like I don't care if you do. That's the recommendation. I'm wearing them. I think it's your choice. But he went to Walter Reed Hospital.
Yeah, the location matters, folks. He wasn't just out and about fucking doing it, because in the story, all they're talking about is the fact that, he wouldn't wear one publicly or whatever. But this whole time they've been talking about it, he wasn't in public. So technically he was like at a specific place, but that's the only time he wore a mask. And he gave an explanation for why he did. So I'm a little confused as to why this is a story.
Because they made him wear a mask. He did it, even though I like that his mask has the presidential seal on it. He's got a presidential mask. It's just over on the side. I was really hoping he would come out with something funny though. Yeah,
well, they'll have more of a story if he just starts wearing one all the time whenever he's out and about or whatever. But if he doesn't wear any more masks after this, unless he is in a particular setting, then they still don't have a story. Like they're just like, ha, look at this thing. We celebrate small and pointless victories. There you go. You win, I guess.
I mean, is it just me, or is it like really weird that it is a story? I mean, at all. Like, okay, the story's literally the president wore a mask.
Well, I mean, it's news in the sense that it's the first time it's happened. That's about the most I could give it as far as being relevant to anything. And if you're trying to point out hypocrisy, him going to a hospital, isn't quite the strongest argument. But as far as being news, I guess. I mean, insofar as they have to cover every move the president makes, the first time he wears a mask in public, it is news. It's new information. It's a new event. So I guess.
Okie, thank you. He should go out in a functional Vader suit. I just think he should do something funny with it. like wearing masks that says "Where's Biden?" or
Fake news.
fake news would be great. Yeah, I think there was a lot of area for fun that he missed. That's all.
All right. So this is one that I came across early this morning, and I tagged it so we could go over it since we talked about this last night. I read a little bit of it ahead of time, and there was one irritation I had that I'll get there because I can't avoid it as I read it. Debunking 12 lies and falsehoods from the White House statement on Roger Stone's commutation. So let's see. What they do is they quote the statement and then they give rebuttals after each section. Quote, today, President Donald J. Trump signed an executive grant of clemency commuting the unjust sentence of Roger Stone Jr. Roger Stone is a victim of the Russia hoax that the left and its allies in the media perpetuated for years in an attempt to undermine the Trump presidency, unquote. And here are their rebuttal bullet points. Number one, the Russia investigation was not a hoax, and it did not originate from Democrats or the media. Okay. The investigation began in July 2016 after the FBI received a tip about potential coordination between the Trump campaign and the Russian government. The FBI director at the time was James Comey, a Republican.
Okay.
Yeah, this is CNN's rebuttal. Okay.
Uh-huh.
And then the second rebuttal is later, after Trump fired Comey in May 2017, the Trump-appointed Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein appointed Robert Mueller as special counsel to continue the investigation. Rosenstein and Mueller are both Republicans. The Justice Department Inspector General said the probe was legally opened in 2016. So, comments, and I'll move on.
I don't really know how to respond to that because you guys are following that stuff a lot more than me, so I don't really know exactly how it took place because I wasn't paying attention. So.
Well, in literal terms, the investigation was not a hoax in the sense that it actually did exist. The basis for it is shady as hell. So in that sense, and of course it was overblown, but it was an actual officiated investigation. So I guess in that sense, that is not true that it was a hoax. That's the best I can give that one.
Real quick, Okie Native, thank you. Our Uncle Ray's barbecue sauce and chips the same company? I have no idea. I mean, yeah, it was the investigation a hoax. Well, yeah, it was still a hoax. I mean, the vast majority of the information that was used for the investigation itself still came from the Steele dossier. The information that came into the FBI was from an Australian because of a conversation they had with Carter Page, because he said something that nobody else would know that was on the fucking news at the time. So was it the investigation real? Sure. Should it have been? Probably not. Thank you, Your Chaos, My Serenity, for the devil sticker. And thank you, Snubber. This problem still lies with the sentencing. Stone is owed a free punch on that judge's face for that ridiculous sentence. No, look, with the two different recommendations that were made, the judge settled somewhere in between. So even if you think that judge was a shit judge, and to be honest, I don't know. I haven't looked into the judge side of it that much. But the original recommendation was what, almost 9 years?
Yeah. And
the Justice Department revised that to, I want to say 2, less than 2. And she settled on basically 3.5, 40 months.
40 months, yeah.
Yeah, so,
Okay, and I'm not going to read the entire article, but this is the section that made me go, come on, guys. And it's not necessarily fact-based, just sort of in semantic-based. This is the quote from the statement. Quote, there was never any collusion between the Trump campaign or the Trump administration with Russia. Such collusion was never anything other than a fantasy of partisans unable to accept the result of the 2016 election. The collusion delusion spawned endless and farcical investigations conducted at great taxpayer expense, looking for evidence that did not exist, unquote. You got super chat.
Sorry, I was drinking. Ashley, thank you so much for the thumbs up pair. I've got to turn my phone down. Sorry, guys.
And then CNN's rebuttal to this. Mueller's final report did not conclude that there was, quote, never any collusion. Collusion is not a legal term. Mueller investigated whether any Trump associates criminally conspired with Russians regarding the election. Mueller said the investigation, quote, did not establish that members of the Trump campaign conspired or coordinated with the Russian government in its election interference activities. Look up the definition of collusion and then tell me why conspiracy or coordinated are not synonyms.
Because if they were, then that would be a really stupid point they just made.
It was a really stupid point they just made.
Well, it was, but that's only because of...
Especially since collusion was the term used over and over again by the media.
Repeatedly.
Yeah,
and,
it's not a real term. We just made sure we used it every fucking time we talked about it.
Right.
So that doesn't say anything about whatever statements are inside the quote. That just has everything to do with, really, CNN? That's a rebuttal point of yours? The second rebuttal point, the investigation did unearth dozens of contacts between Trump campaign associates and Russians, even though Trump repeatedly denied to the public that there was any communication before the election. My understanding was, and correct me if I'm wrong, it was not the fact that they communicated with Russians because there was a lot of lead up and preparation on the chance that Trump won, but that communication took place that was improper.
Yeah, the offense would be improper. It's not you're not allowed to talk to him at all.
Right.
And this is what happened with Flynn, with Flynn talking to the Russians. All he did was say, probably be best not to be shitty in retaliation for the sanctions we put on him, because that's just going to escalate things. And he was speaking for the government. Like, no, he wasn't. He was saying, maybe your best interest here. He was giving an opinion. Yeah. And he wasn't speaking with the official force of the presidency or anything at that time. There was the meeting with the ambassador, and all of this stuff was just minor things. Like they ran into each other at a fucking official party, a Washington party. Oh, we saw you there with the ambassador. You shook hands. That was a secret handshake.
Yeah, that was the thing that was getting me. Is they're like, there was a Russian in the bathroom, and the other one said hi. He said hi to him. They said they never talked to the Russians. What's up with that? And I'm just like, okay, cool.
Let's see. And this is one that I wanted to, because I forget who it was. Somebody brought up last night that Stone had appealed the case, but was already denied his appeals. And I didn't know one way or the other on that one, but here's what the statement versus the rebuttal is. Quote, he has appealed his conviction and is seeking a new trial. He maintains his innocence and has stated that he expects to be fully exonerated by the justice system. Mr. Stone, like every American, deserves a fair trial and every opportunity to vindicate himself before the courts, unquote. And then the rebuttal is, the judge already ruled that the trial was fair and there was no misconduct by the jury. Stone is appealing his case and has raised many of the same issues about the jury in his filings with the appeals panel. So he hasn't been prevented from appealing. No. His appeal is still ongoing. So I just wanted to make sure, because I forget who said it last night, that all of his appeals have been denied. And I was like, he hasn't even started serving his term or his sentence yet. How can all his appeals have been denied? So they haven't been denied. It's just they're in process.
There were appeals that were denied that went through this judge. Any relief he could have got from this judge is over.
Okay. Sure.
So it goes on to the next step. Yeah.
Yeah, but again, like I said, that judge isn't the end all be all in a case like that. He has opportunities to appeal further up the chain. So that was the part that I was confused by. I was like, that if he's been denied appeals all the way up to the top already, that's pretty quick.
And I've seen a lot of people mention this juror. I have not looked into them to see what the issue was. I saw something. Somebody said they said anti-Trump statements, or I honestly don't know anything about him, so I don't know how good his chances are to appeal, but he still got the chance.
All right. Anyway, I put the link to the story in the chat if you guys want to read it. It goes on for quite a bit, and we've got other things to get to, so take a look if you will.
Real quick, your boy Pat in chat says, Zyla said, where's her song?
Oh, that's right. Hey, thank you for reminding me. So your boy Pat's daughter, Zyla, has turned 19 today.
Oh, congratulations, sweetheart. Well, to answer your dad's question, this one's for you, sweetie. And a 1 and a 2.
Happy birthday
to you.
you.
I hope he made you a feast.
Happy
Happy birthday
to
to you.
If he did, I need you to send me some of that.
Happy birthday,
dear Zyla.
dear Zyla.
I'm serious. I'm not joking.
Happy birthday to you.
Now, I'm not going to ask any inappropriate questions, even though you're old enough and you are a very beautiful young lady, because your dad scares me. I hope you had a great birthday.
Wow.
What?
That's the only reason?
Yeah.
If her dad was not frightening, you'd have a different opinion?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Of course. I'd be like, yo, girl, how tall are you? But I ain't saying that to her. That'd have beat my ass. You see him?
Once or twice.
It's also Lady Sith's birthday. Her name is Adrian, and we will do that right after the next story. What else we got here?
How about Ghislaine Maxwell has 2 tapes of prominent U.S. politicians having sex with minors?
Oh.
Yeah. Let's see. Ghislaine, I know it's like, it's not pronounced Ghislaine, but I just can't get past.
That's how I always say it.
Ghislaine Maxwell has tapes of 2 prominent U.S. politicians having sex with minors and boasted of, quote, owning powerful people, according to a former friend. Oh, so this is familiar with the matter situation. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The ex-jewel robber who used the pseudonym William Steele, of course he did, said they forced him to watch the footage as they wanted to convince him of their power. He also claimed to have seen clips of celebrities and world figures having threesomes, even orgies with minors. In a way, I hope this guy is lying for the sake of whatever hypothetical minors we're talking about. On the other hand, all things considered, he might not be wrong.
I hope there's tapes out there for these shitbags who were doing this so that they can get caught and prosecuted.
Yes. It follows Maxwell, 58, being arrested last Thursday on charges she helped lure at least 3 girls, probably a lot more, one as young as 14, to be sexually abused by Epstein, who was accused of victimizing dozens of girls and women over many years. Steele told The Sun, quote, "They wanted to convince me of their power and who they held in their grip. They boasted about owning powerful people. Excuse me. I saw videos of very powerful people, celebrities, world figures in those videos having sex, etc." The former friend also referred to 2 high-profile American politicians who were in videos with minors. Didn't name them, obviously.
Name them.
And then it goes over Ghislaine Maxwell's personal history and her what she's accused of, etc. So interesting if true, but unless or until we get the actual details, it's just smoke at this point.
And I'm with you on that. That unfortunately, this proves nothing other than some person said something.
Mm-hmm.
But as shitty of a person as she is, I'm probably more interested in the people who were actually doing it. Yeah, she procured them. That makes her a shitbag, and I hope she rots in prison for the rest of her life for it. But I want the names of who did it, and I want them rotting under the prison for the rest of their natural born lives.
And on that note, a birthday song.
Adrian, it's your birthday. And around here we do this. This one's for you, sweetie. And a 1 and a 2. Happy birthday to you.
Hooray, prison rotting.
Happy birthday to you.
Oh, and birthday.
Happy birthday, dear Adrian.
Hey, Elmo, stop it.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. I hope you had a great one. Thank you so much, Pincalo, who says SADS, suddenly assisted death syndrome. Yeah.
That is hilarious.
Let's see. So this one is actually a couple days old, but I kept meaning to read it, and we never did. So here you go. Tucker Carlson's top writer. I'm sorry. My God, Tucker Carlson's top writer resigns after secretly posting racist and sexist remarks in online forum.
Yeah, I saw that.
The top writer for Fox News host Tucker Carlson has for years been using a pseudonym to post bigoted remarks on an online forum that is a hotbed for racist, sexist, and other offensive content, CNN Business learned this week. Just this week, the writer, Blake Neff, N-E-F-F, Blake Neff, responded to a thread started by another user in 2018 with the subject line, quote, "Would you let a black Congo N-word do LASIK surgery on you for 50% off?" Neff wrote, quote, "I wouldn't get LASIK from an Asian for free, so no."
All right.
On June 5th, Neff wrote, quote, "Black dudes, D-O-O-D-S, staying inside playing Call of Duty is probably one of the biggest factors keeping crime down," unquote.
Holy shit.
On June 24th, Neff commented, quote, "Honestly, given how tired black people always claim to be, maybe the real crisis is their lack of sleep," unquote.
I don't get that.
On June 26th, Neff wrote that the only people who care about changing the name of the NFL's Washington Redskins are, quote, "white libs and their university-educated pets," unquote. Well,
That's not racist. That's true.
That's factual, but that other shit.
Right. The other shit, what the fuck? But yeah, that one's just true.
and over the course of 5 years, Neff has maintained a lengthy thread in which he has derided a woman and posted information about her dating life that has invited other users to mock her and invade her privacy. There has at times also been overlap between some material he posted or saw on the forum and Carlson's show. CNN Business contacted Neff for comment Thursday night after he or someone acting on his behalf passed that email to Fox News spokespeople. A network spokesperson on Friday morning told CNN Business that Neff had resigned. A Fox News spokesperson said on Friday that Carlson could not be reached for comment. Neff did not respond to multiple requests for comment. In a memo sent to employees Saturday afternoon after this story was first published, Fox News CEO Suzanne Scott and President Jay Wallace condemned, quote, "horrific, racist, misogynistic, and homophobic behavior. Neff's abhorrent conduct on this forum was never divulged to the show or the network until Friday, at which point we swiftly accepted his resignation. Make no mistake, actions such as his cannot and will not be tolerated at any time in any part of our workforce," unquote. Neff worked at Fox News for nearly 4 years and was Carlson's top writer. Previously, he was a reporter at the Daily Caller, a conservative news outlet that Carlson co-founded. In a recent article in the Dartmouth Alumni Magazine, Neff said, quote, "Anything Carlson is reading off the teleprompter, the first draft was written by me," unquote. He also acknowledged the show's influence, telling the magazine, quote, "We're very aware that we do have that power to sway the conversation, so we try to use it responsibly," unquote. Okay.
Somebody asked how this was divulged. CNN did some kind of digging. I don't know. Somebody probably matched up some IPs or something like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
No article I've seen has said that. I'm sorry, what?
I said, so they are investigators when it comes to taking down other media.
Oh, sure.
Oh, no, Satsu. Shush. No. Stop. They're always journalists first.
Doesn't this support the narrative that Trump is pushing to attack the media?
No, it's never attacking the media if you're attacking Fox News. That's just normal. That's what you're supposed to do.
Either way, fuck this dude. I'm glad he
yeah, fuck him. And supposedly Tucker's supposed to address this on Monday.
Oh, Sinatra will be covering that.
So for a change, I will actually be seeking out Tucker. I'm not going to be watching it live because I don't care that much. But I will watch it when the clips come out, of course. But yeah, fuck this guy. They fired him, which is what he resigned. Accepted his resignation.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have done that. I've been like, sorry, dude, you're fired. You can't be in your position and doing that shit. And this isn't like they dug up something he did 10 years ago. He was actively doing this.
Right.
So
I want to get this one in real quick, or at least a part of it before we move on. So this is CNN's analysis of what we know right now about the November election. And I'm just going to cover the first one because this is something that I've been curious about. And granted, consider the source. I'm putting the link in the chat for those of you that want to read the rest. But the question is, how real is Biden's lead? I've asked that question several times on this show and elsewise because it's like, well, it's he has a lead for what reason? He hasn't said anything. He hasn't made some grand policy proposal. He hasn't been going anywhere. So why does he have a lead? And is it based on anything other than just bad press for Trump right now? And they split this up into, I guess, the person asking this and the person they're talking to. We went to Jennifer Agista. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. CNN's director of polling and election analytics. Okay, so the first part is the author asking the question, and the next part is her responding. Polling consistently shows Biden with a clear lead over Donald Trump. Is there any precedent for a presidential candidate coming back from that kind of deficit 4 months from Election Day? What? That's not the question you started this out with. How real is Biden's lead? No, seriously. Okay, the subheading of the article is how real is Biden's lead, and then they get into the text of the question from the author, and that's not what he asks.
Nope, completely different question.
We're not talking about like 7 paragraphs in between or something. Like, seriously? Come on. Okay, her answer. It is a strikingly large deficit this close to the election, but as close as we are to the election, there is still a lot of time for opinions to shift. And if 2020 has proven anything, it's that the news can give you whiplash at just about any moment, and large shifts in the presidential horse race can happen late in the game if the news is big enough. I'm going to say no.
That's still not even the question.
That's not even the question, but I'm going to say, for the most part, no. Short of, how many big atomic bombs on Trump's campaign did we see in the late stages of 2016? The Access Hollywood tape, et cetera. There were plenty of things coming out about Trump around that time, and it didn't change anybody's opinion. And I think, like I say, we'll find out maybe about the end of this month, but I think people's opinions on it are pretty much set. Now, whether or not the polling is accurate as to what the outcome will be in the election, I'm not going to call that. And of course, CNN isn't going to call that because hopefully they learned the lesson from 4 years ago, or maybe not. But short of like one of those tapes coming out from Ghislaine Maxwell and showing Trump involved in something, I don't see how anybody's opinions are going to change drastically between now and the election that are already set, I think.
I think you're going to see quite a few of them change when we see the debates. If Biden is as flighty as he seems just in some of his talking, I think you're going to see a lot of people who are not paying attention to Biden, who are only paying attention to the news headlines, which don't mention him at all. Yeah. Biden hasn't been talked about in any meaningful way since before the primaries.
Yeah.
And people get a glimpse of what he's really like. I think you could see a whole lot of opinions change.
Well, let me just clarify then. The people who are already set to vote against Trump are going to vote against Trump. And with Biden being their only option, they're probably going to vote for Biden. The people who are still in a nebulous area, sure, they could change ways, but the people who have already made up their minds, I don't think that's going to change, barring some dramatic bomb going off.
I'm not sure how many made it, because like right now, the last poll that I saw was 58-38, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Biden with a 20% advantage. I do see a lot of people who lean towards Biden. If you watch news articles or news interviews and stuff, who don't seem sold on Biden. It's just like, he's not Trump. And then you see him, and I think you're going to see a lot of people either push to go back to Trump or not vote at all, or vote even third party.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I've been seeing a huge push, especially over on Facebook, for of people really convincing everybody that voting third party is like in their best interest. And they're like, cut the shit, stop fucking bullshitting. You're going to make Trump win. So everybody needs to get on board and do this. And I'm just like, that's not going to happen. And you're probably going to be the reason Trump wins. Yeah.
Let's see. I just want to see if she ever actually answers the question. Okay. I think she does. Okay. Running up the score in population centers like California and New York wouldn't do Biden much good in his bid to take the White House. Recent polling in critical battlegrounds seems to confirm what the national polling is showing at the moment. However, with Biden holding edges in several of the states he must win in order to gain an electoral college advantage and competitive in states where the president won handily last time around. Okay. That all suggests that Biden's current edge is a meaningful one, but polling in some of those same states just a few months ago found much tighter contests. So again, there is room for things to change. So you don't know. Just say you don't know. I mean, you can take a long way of going to say you don't know, but just say you don't know.
Wasn't the question if it could be done historically?
Polling consistently shows Joe Biden with a clear lead over Donald Trump. Is there any precedent for a presidential candidate coming back from that kind of deficit 4 months from Election Day? Okay, ignoring what the actual question was and what the question actually stated was, does she ever reference anything historical? In 2008, for example, CNN polling found a near neck-and-neck race for much of the year until the financial crisis really hit in mid-September. Just after Labor Day and the Republican convention, the race stood at 48% for Barack Obama to 48% for John McCain among registered voters. After the stock market crash, Obama quickly gained a double-digit advantage over McCain among that same group, maxing out in CNN's polling at a 14-point Obama lead in October 3rd through 5th poll. That poll came less than a month after the tied result. There wasn't a single reputable national poll which found Obama behind McCain for the remainder of the campaign.
That doesn't show a comeback. That shows somebody pulling ahead.
Right. There's no deficit there. That's an even Steven. So she doesn't. She never answers the question. Is the short version.
So
she
don't know.
She doesn't know.
Yeah. No way.
I honestly, because I stopped when I saw this article, I was kind of curious, and I saw that first subheading, and I was like, oh, I'm saving this one. Because I at least want to get a perspective on, like, because that's always been my wondering, like, okay, Biden's leading in the polls. For what reason? Is it based on anything substantive? I rate there.
No.
And yeah, like, well, I mean, I don't know. I still don't know because an expert hasn't said. So I don't know. Anyway, that's all the news that I have.
Over on the MSS News, guys, if there's a story you want us to take a look at, hit us up at the hashtag MSS News over on the Twitter machine. We can't get to them all, but that's just because we talk too damn much. First one comes from Mercy of Wits. It says, breaking news from the Independent. Trump demands extradition of former MI6 officer Christopher Steele over Russian dossier.
Is that Monkey or is that me?
Probably me.
That Monkey wasn't breaking up for me, so I don't know.
Oh, shit. Okay. Well, am I breaking up?
No.
Okay. All right. Never mind.
This is opening videos because it's on the Independent. Hang on. Donald Trump has demanded the extradition of Christopher Steele, the British former MI6 officer who compiled the infamous dossier on the president's ties with Russia. On Saturday morning, the president tweeted, "This man should be extradited, tried, and thrown into jail. A sick liar who was paid by Crooked Hillary and a DNC." Mr. Trump shared a news report from Wednesday regarding a British court ruling that the former British spy had violated data privacy laws by failing to check information on the president's Russia connections. A few minutes later, Mr. Trump wrote, "Bring back Steele," and retweeted a link to a book by the Russian investigation by Fox News legal and political analyst Greg Jarrett. Earlier this week, the UK High Court ordered Mr. Steele to pay damages of $23,000, 17,900 pounds, each to two Russian businessmen that he claimed had made payoffs to Putin in the 1990s. So this makes it sound like Trump actually made some kind of real thing. He just tweeted to bring the guy back so we could try him. It's Trump being Trump on Twitter.
Well, you know that Trump's tweets are literal, like, actual governmental decisions that really happen in the real world.
Right.
Every time Trump tweets, they're like, "Oh my God, he's got to do this thing." It's like he sent a tweet, bro.
Yeah, it says a tweet. Relax.
Well,
relax.
Okay, but being the devil's advocate here, trying to distinguish between what is a decree from the office of the President of the United States and what is just Trump being Trump. It's not always clear cut.
Well, I mean, has anything that he's tweeted come out into an actual, like was the result of the tweet some type of presidential decision overall? Or
no, there's times that he's gone to his Twitter to announce things that they've officially done, and then there's times it's him giving his opinion.
Right.
And usually he'll say, I just signed something, or we just put forward if it's something official.
Right.
Otherwise, it's just him running his mouth.
Well, yeah, but trying to suss out what is him stating an intention for an action and what is an official announcement. Like I say, it's not always clear cut, and people trying to read either internationally or domestically, trying to read the tea leaves of what is Trump talking Trump and what is Trump indicating a change or a decision in policy. I can't blame somebody for wondering when they see those things.
Well, like I said, for me, I go by whether or not he states in there that it's something that they're actually doing.
Yeah.
Right.
Because usually I've never seen a case where that's not the case. So next up, oh God, Frosted, damn you. It's not from Medium.
Uh-oh, is it Slate?
It's from, what is this? The Bold Tail? No, the Bold Italic. The Bold Italic.
Never heard of it.
My kid looks a lot less black than I thought he would.
Oh, what?
Wait till I get to the subheading. I'm proud of our blackness, but part of me is secretly relieved. Was this written by the guy that used to work for Tucker?
Wait, so I'm confused. Is the father? Okay, read the article. Sorry, I'm confused.
I am black. My husband and the biological father of my two boys, one toddler and one in utero, is white.
Okay.
We knew early on that we wanted children, but it wasn't until I was pregnant with our first son that I really started to dig into my husband about being a father to black children. Black sons, no less. To his credit, he dove into reading and research and frank conversations on his own. We were getting him ready for a journey he maybe thought he'd never be on. Fathering black boys.
They're as much white as they are black, lady. I hate to tell you this.
Well, just genetically, when it's a white father with a black mother, they tend to be much lighter skinned. And when it's a black father with a white mother, they tend to be darker skinned.
Sure. Okay.
Except for Aaliyah.
Except for Aaliyah. She's not as dark as you, that's true. I just think there's so many genetics running around in Squishy that they kick your black ass.
So many genetics.
She says she's got like 30%. What is it? Something of African descent, like 30% of hers. So maybe, I don't know. Maybe it wasn't skronk enough.
Wow.
All the while, I didn't give much thought to my own journey, being the black half of the equation for our multiracial children.
Oh my God.
My expectations were blown up pretty early on. I just assumed that our oldest son's complexion would fall in between my husband's and mine, and that he would clearly, unequivocally look black. But nope, he is quite fair-skinned.
Oh, no.
Furthermore, for the first 12 months of his life, his hair was stick straight, really eliminating any trace of my heritage from him. Does he look like you, sweetie? Because that would be where I would go. Facial features.
Oh, is she like actively disowning her own child? I'm
Not exactly.
I don't know.
During my maternity leave, many women assumed I was his nanny. There was one woman in particular who could not fathom that he came from me. One day, we were in the post office getting things organized for our son's passport. I was tending to him and my husband was filling out paperwork. This older white lady ambled up, looked at our baby, turned to my husband and said, "He's gorgeous." He's gorgeous. I chimed in with a thank you. She gave me a sideways glance and turned back to my husband to ask his age and name.
Oh, no.
Again, since my husband was trying to fill out some paperwork, I hopped in. At that point, she said, Are you his mother? And I said, I am. Just to confirm that she had no social grace whatsoever, she insisted, no, you're not. I don't believe you. Wanting the interaction to end, I laughed and said he favors his father, but he's absolutely mine. I should have told her to mind her business.
I'm circling the square on the bingo card, an anecdote that probably never happened.
I don't know about that one.
Really?
Yeah, especially if it was an older white lady or whatever, because I've had that. Like I said, when I was back when I used to take care of my ex-girlfriend's daughter or whatever, whenever we were out in public, I had to deal with those bitches daily.
Okay.
Because they were nosy as fuck. And one lady, I told you, we were at the mall. She literally called the security guard to have him come over and check to see if the little girl I was with knew me. Even though she was holding my hand and we were hanging out and there wasn't nothing wrong. She was just like, I don't trust that situation over there. So I'm just like,
let me read this next sentence.
All right.
And then you guys can decide if that ever happened. My husband has no recollection of this interaction.
All
right. Well, that drops the credibility quite a bit.
Yeah, because if any self-respecting human being, if you're standing there with your kid and your wife, and someone says that can't be your kid in a racial manner, you're going to remember that shit. Oh, of course. Well, unless he's blinded by his white privilege, of course.
Oh, there's that.
Yeah, there's that.
I don't know what her problem is, but there's also some black children are born looking white for the first several months of their life. She says, she goes on to say their hair started to kink and their skin darkened a little bit, and then you could see they're black. But remember, the subheading, part of me is very happy about that. Good luck in life, lady. Good luck to your kids. Massive Dynamics sends us this one. A lost pig stops traffic on Virginia interstate.
Okay.
A highway in Virginia was backed up for nearly an hour Wednesday after motorists found themselves sharing the road with a loose pig wandering into traffic. And there's video of this, by the way.
Sure.
A hog was spotted on the southbound Interstate 95 lanes on Spotsylvania and Carolina counties around 1 p.m. Diana Madison, who was driving home when she came across the scene, told the paper she saw four hogs in total. You guys just said one. Some motorists and animal control officers were giving them aid. She estimated they weighed around 400 pounds each. It wasn't immediately clear how the pigs ended up on the interstate, nor were there any signs of damaged vehicles. At least two of the animals, however, appeared to have injuries. Well, there you go. Just some wild pigs running around. Those are some big-ass pigs. They look to be about maybe half the size, or half the height of a tractor trailer wheel. It's a pretty nice size hog. That's a lot of bacon right there is what that is. He fell off a truck in chat. They said they saw at least 4 of them. So somebody was kicking them off a truck. Okay. This is from Jedi Ghost Bear. Come on, load. There we go. Damn it, ads. I hate ads. Stop it. There we go. 13 cruise ships to be scrapped or sold as Carnival Corporation manages COVID fallout. Get ready for the great shrinking of the fleets in the cruise world. The CEO of Carnival Corporation, the world's largest cruise company, on Friday revealed that its 9 brands would remove 13 ships from their fleets in the coming months as they cut costs and reorganize in anticipation of a slow restart to cruising. To reduce our cash burn and have a more efficient fleet, we have aggressively shed less efficient ships. Based in Miami, Carnival is the parent company of Carnival Cruise Line, Holland America, Princess Cruise, Seabourn, and 5 other brands that went into the coronavirus crisis with a combined fleet of 104 ships. Together, the 9 brands account for about 45% of all cruise ships.
Yeah, okay.
They're just getting rid of some of the smaller, less efficient ships. My guess would be the ones that had more corona in the dirt all over those fucking Those things are nasty. I would love to take a cruise, but over the last several years, as we've read stories about, even before COVID came along, them like getting people massively sick, they need to clean those goddamn things. The standards are disgusting. But what's this one? Comes from Quinn. Russia Far East protest over Kabrovashevik governor's arrest. They marched to the regional government in, I don't know how to say that word. It's KHABAROVSK.
Say that again.
I'm gonna put it in chat because sometimes it's hard to, keep up with the letters being spelled out, especially when it's in a foreign language. But there you go. They marched to the regional government in wherever the hell that is, shouting slogans against President Vladimir Putin. The governor of that place, Sergei Fergal, was detained on Thursday accused of having ordered the killing of several business people 15 years ago. Mr. Fergal defeated the candidate of Mr. Putin's United Resident Party in election 2 years ago. His party, the ultra-nationalist Liberal Democratic Party of Russia, is usually seen as loyal to the Kremlin. The correspondents say Mr. Fergal's victory was seen as a blow to the United Russia grip on power in the region, and he is a popular figure in the Far East. Estimates of regional media and opposition put the numbers of demonstrators at between 5,000 and 40,000 in a city of about 600,000 residents. Okay, there's quite a difference between 5 and 40,000.
Yeah.
Quite a bit.
Like 8 times as many. Okay, all right. What do we have here? What? Oh, God, this is from the Mirror. So if I get brokey uppy here, I apologize. This comes from Shrouded Angel. British pilot had 99% burns after plane crash, but carried woman for a mile to safety. Damn. As flames raged around him, brave David Goodwin unclipped his belt and, while still inside the burning wreck, pulled his stricken passenger free. It took an astonishing 90 seconds, and his partner, Michelle Tilley, her sisters, Charlene Tilley and Tanya Collins, and his teenage nephew, Ryan Collins, they all suffered burns themselves. David, 67, an experienced pilot and skydiver, had 99% burns, and his clothes were completely burned off. Naked, charred, and bleeding, he somehow found the strength to carry badly hurt Tanya for a mile as he led the wounded party through woodland. They reached a mountain track only for 2 trucks carrying 50 forestry workers to drive past when they saw the ragged and bloodied group. One driver did return and called for help, but David was so badly injured he died 48 hours later.
Yeah.
There's a picture of the crash in here, and I am surprised anybody walked away from that thing. That plane is flat. That is just flat. Holy shit. Well, rest in peace, sir, and heroic way to go out, my friend. God damn.
Well, that's going to be a movie soon. That's fucked up, man.
The amount of pain he actually, hopefully he got to that point where his pain receptors overloaded and he just couldn't feel it anymore. Because that can happen, and it happens to people sometimes with a severe burn.
Yeah, it sounds like at that point it was just pure adrenaline.
Yeah. But also at that point, there's no coming back. You got 99% burns all over, you're dying, unfortunately. But good for him, man. See, that's something to be his kids and his wife. That was our guy right there. Good on him. I don't know what this is about, but it looks interesting. This comes from Ramen Lewis. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski responds to Missouri Senator's email Fuck you. We've never seen a watch bomb like this before. Senator Josh Hawley sent a letter to NBA Commissioner Adam Silver criticizing the league's once cozy and now complicated relationship with China. The NBA's most prominent reporter offered a blunt response to the Republican. Fuck you, wrote ESPN's Adrian, however you say her name, who didn't use dashes in his writing after being included in a press release with details of the letter. Holly, 40, posted a screenshot of the email, tweeting, "Don't criticize hashtag China or express support for law enforcement to @ESPN. It makes them real mad." Wojnarowski Rakowski apologized soon after. "I was disrespectful and I made a regrettable mistake," he wrote on Twitter. "I'm sorry for the way I handled myself, and I'm reaching out immediately to Senator Hawley to apologize directly. I also need to apologize to my ESPN colleagues because I know my actions were unacceptable and should not reflect on any of them." ESPN also released a statement declining to address whether Wojnarowski, how the fuck you say that name, would be disciplined. "This is a completely unacceptable behavior and we do not condone it. It is inexcusable for anyone working for ESPN to respond in a way that Adrian did to Senator Hawley. We are addressing it directly with Adrian, and specifics of those conversations will remain internal." As the NBA readies for its restart to the season at the end of July, the league is allowing players to showcase social justice messages on their jerseys, such as equality, Black Lives Matter, vote, and I can't breathe. However, the league limited statements to an approved list, which exclude any commentary regarding China.
Interesting.
In Holly's letter to Silver, the former critically questioned whether Free Hong Kong could also be featured on the back of a player's jersey, writing that the NBA's free expression appears to stop at the edge of your corporate sponsor sensibilities.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck.
It's not wrong. Yeah, it's fucking fact.
And and it wasn't even a player who got mad. It was a fucking reporter for ESPN. Like, fuck you. Like, why? That's a legitimate question. You want to talk about some oppression? Those folks in Hong Kong, they're oppressed.
Yeah,
you want to see some police brutality? Check out some of those fucking videos.
Yeah, we're not allowed to care about those guys.
And it's not that you have to. This is specifically with the NBA, because the NBA, they had a whole situation with this just last year. Because one of the owners is like, why the fuck are we here in China when they're doing what they do to Hong Kong? And LeBron James like, you need to stop, man. We make our money here. It's a legitimate question. Can you have free Hong Kong on there?
Mm-hmm.
Apparently not. And yeah, be careful because it will upset the ESPNers. I think with that, we'll wrap up MSS News, guys. Thank you so much for the submissions. Sorry we can't get to them all. We do appreciate everyone and all the effort you guys put into that. Unfortunately, the show must go on.
Unfortunately?
Well, unfortunately for that segment.
Oh, I thought you were like, well, I guess we still have to be here.
No, the show itself is wonderful.
Oh, okay, all right.
We just can't read any more of those.
Mm.
Because we have YouTube time, you know?
I do.
And Satsu, you been doing anything on the YouTubes?
No, I didn't get a chance to do anything today. As far as YouTube is concerned, hopefully we'll be able to stream tonight, because Monkey's been getting his 7 days fixed, but I don't have a single player server, so
yeah,
I only can play when we play. So
we should explain what happened. So last night after the show, we get set up to do it, and there's an update. It's 2.4 gigs. I'm like, no problem. I'll plug in my satellite. My satellite was running slower than my AT&T. And I tried everything I could to fix it. That router got reset a total of 3 times. Whole computer reset. Everything done that I could. And we finally call it like, no, we're not going to have one tonight because it's just taking too long. It was telling me it was going to take 2 days to download. So I leave it running for about an hour while I go over and watch Eyes On stream, where it's a bunch of the different protesters and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched that for about an hour and like, all right, fuck it, I'll do Monkey in the morning. So I close that all down, unplug the satellite, do that. That's over. Plug the satellite back in. The last 1.5 gigs, it did in less than 15 minutes. I was like, you son of a bitch. Like, well, I guess I'll do a single player. Scribbles, what you been up to?
I did a TED Excellence today. It was another in the ongoing series of restorative justice presentations. I will say it's one of the first ones that didn't give me a complete aneurysm, but only because the lady never really said anything. It was a lot of restorative justice as used in Canada is very effective and very positive. And I'm like, how? Restorative justice in Canada is something to consider from crimes such as theft all the way to violent crimes. I'm like, okay, tell me about rape and murder. At no point, I mean, it was bizarre. Apparently, and I didn't know this because she never mentioned it in the talk, she's the director of some restorative justice organization in Canada. And yet at no point in her 12, 13-minute talk did she bring up any statistics, even biased statistics. I didn't even see her those. No statistics, no success stories, no anecdotes, nothing. And I would have thought that someone who is the director of such an organization would have at least a 30-second elevator pitch to a potential fundraiser or donor or something. But no, none of that's in there. It was just a lot of happy-go-lucky platitudes and pablum. And I was just, okay, I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop, and it never did. So throughout the most of it, I kept like anticipating that she was going to do X, as so many other speakers on the subject have talked about before. Never did. So yeah, I mean, it was kind of a nothing presentation in that sense, but it was just one more example of how someone is willing to put the extent to which they want to apply restorative justice all the way up to violent crimes, but not tell us exactly how that is meant to function. Like, give me an active example of what that looks like. Still haven't, And only one out of all of them, I only think there was one guy that ever said that restorative justice doesn't necessarily work for the most serious crimes. And I'm like, okay, well, at least you're the most honest person I've heard so far. And like I said today, if they said nothing else, but they came out and said, restorative justice as a supplement to the criminal justice system is appropriate for crimes of third-degree misdemeanors and below, or something like that. If they actually set a line and said this, and they acknowledge that there are some crimes that it just doesn't make sense to offer an alternative for reflexively, I would at least have more respect for that. But I've never heard that in any explicit way. So yeah, that was my big excitement today.
And you're right about that, and that's always been the jokes we make about it is, with the worst possible ones. But even with the lesser crimes, like say theft, the idea of restorative justice, you go in there and you talk to each other and he feels bad. That doesn't do anything.
It depends on, I always say it always depends on the individual circumstances of the case. If you have a juvenile offender and they steal something from a store and they're caught and they come back and the person, they return the thing, they apologize, they agree to do some volunteering. I mean, there are ways and circumstances where I could see it happening. It's going to be on a case-by-case basis. You cannot mandate it. You can't require the victim to show up if they don't want to, that kind of thing. But to offer an alternative or something that may be a diversionary option, depending on the case at hand or the circumstances, I can see that being an option, possibly.
You said with juvenile, and I've said this all along, this is the way you deal with 5-year-olds.
Well, I only brought juvenile because I just thought of like
no, I know, but that's the one that makes sense. It is.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Because there's no grown-ass adult that doesn't know stealing is wrong.
Like I say, I have seen documentaries and seen personal stories of people who have gone and talked to, say, and the most dramatic example was a mother went to talk to the man who killed her son. I've seen this a couple times before, but there was some documentary, I forget, it was on Netflix anyway, where they actually just showed this encounter, and it was cathartic for her. It didn't obviously bring back her son. Whether or not the person who did the crime feels any more or less remorse for what they did, you'd have to take their word for it. I don't begrudge somebody if that kind of experience is going to help them in some fashion. As far as the victim's concerned, I care less about the feelings or the overall condition of the person who did the crime. But at the same time, I don't think it's something that either can be mandated. And so far, none of the pitches I have heard from the experts on how it would be mechanized along with or as a substitute for the criminal justice system have either made any sense, or if they've even offered what that would look like on a systematic basis. So anyway, that's what I did today. I'm thinking about doing another one tomorrow on a completely different subject. I have a couple options, I haven't decided yet, but that will be tomorrow. So guys, take a look out on my Twitter for that. And there you go.
I did a monkey in the morning and I did a game stream. The game stream, oh my God. I tell you guys, that game hates me. I log in and there's a bear. I'm on day 10 and there's a goddamn bear.
Wasn't it wolves the other day?
Oh, hang on.
Oh.
Kill the bear and a fucking wolf pops up. I'm like, what the So I'm walking along carefully because that tells me that there's probably, they sent in a pack of these things. The next day, I'm in my house. I come back out. There's another goddamn bear. I'm like, this, it just hates me. So I ended up killing several bears, several wolves, and just walking really slow because they're sending bears after me. It's day 10. It's only day 10, you guys. Son of a bitch. So tune in for more fucketry. Follow me on Twitter because I never know when I'm doing the single player. But me and we are doing a game stream tonight, right, Satsu?
Yes, that's the plan.
As long as no update is dropped between the start of this show and the start of that one, because everything was updated. I looked right before the show. So come over to 2 Cents Plus. That's number 2, CENTS PLUS, and watch us play some 7 Days to Die. The link is in the description. I think it is the very bottom link that's in the description, guys. So check that out. It leads us to Humpetry. And Satsu, you got the Humpetry?
Let's see. Let me see if I got into anything. I wasn't on the internet a lot today.
While you're looking, Matthew asked, but were they irate bears? They were after I shot him in the face a few times.
Uh-huh.
Squishy sent me this video. It was a Target video of this dude who walked up to the Target employee, and he was like, hey, can you tell me where the cameras are? And dude's like, yeah, I can show you where the cameras are. Follow me. So he takes like 3 or 4 steps and then breaks off running. So the dude starts chasing him like, dude, what are you doing? Why are you running away from me? And he was like dipping and ducking and dodging through all the aisles and spinning around the fucking clothes racks and shit. He was like, what the fuck, dude? He's chasing this dude down. He eventually gets to the cameras. He was like, oh, dude. And he's like, cameras are right here. He was like, oh, thank you.
Nice.
I'm just like, dude, I want to go back and work at Target specifically so I can do that.
Yeah, that would be fun.
That would be hilarious as hell. Like, you got to keep up. You want to find these cameras. Let's see. What else? Was there anything specific? Let's go to my actual page here. Apparently,
chat. Hi, SDA. How you doing, sweetie?
Yeah, I was chatting with her. I sent her some pictures of Squeetas.
She's so damn cute.
See, most of the fucketry I got into today is hilarious. Like this one, somebody said, officer, the victims were dismembered and sacrificed on an altar made of antlers. The detective, dear God. Officer, most likely, yeah.
Oh, God.
Just like, why?
That sounds like a Hannibal reference. I've just started binging the last season of that show, and yeah.
I feel like
you said you really liked it, right?
Well, I mean, it's really cerebral, obviously, and very sort of it's much more visual than it is sort of like direct action kind of thing. It's like a very psychological show. But the thing I'm still amazed by, and I think I mentioned this before, this was a major network show, and the violence, the graphic gore. I mean, it doesn't bother me like I'm some kind of squeamish person. I've been watching horror movies since I was 12, but I'm just thinking like this was on NBC? Holy cow, it's practically a horror movie every episode. Anyway, yeah, it's really good.
Let's see here. I was on the Twitters today. Did anything happen on Twitter? I don't think so. Let's see. Yeah, I don't think I have any fucketry today, or at least not fucketry that's actual fucketry and not hilarity. So there you go.
Scribbles, you got anything?
I do. Just give me a second here. Sorry, I was caught up in something else. If you've got something quick, you can do that, and I'll get to it in a second.
I only have like one or two today.
Well, then go for it, and I'll.
Well, I'll do this one. Sugar Tits tweeted out this article. A penis drawing that can be seen from space has popped up in Australia. And she says, of course it has. I want to point out two things. One, that's something you should be proud of. If your countrymen get together and make a dick that can be seen from space, you walk with your head held high. And two, this is an erect penis, which is much better than those flaccid penises that got painted all over CHAZ.
Oh my God. Real quick, Furry Kitten says, don't interrupt Scribe, but feel free to interrupt Monkey mid-flow. Thank you.
There you go. What was the other one that I had? What is that? Oh, okay, I do have two more. So yesterday I was watching those there was a riot, sorry, not a riot, a protest in Springfield, and they actually had counter protests going on there. One side was all yeehaw go America, and the other side was all fuck America, I'm a commie shitbag. But somebody from the commie shitbag at one point screams out, how much are the library fees here in Springfield? I'm like,
Oh God.
I'm sorry, what? That's what you're protesting? Library fees? Take the book back. Check it out a second time. You can do that. But that's apparently the big thing. Black Lives Matter and library fees there in Springfield. So if you're in Springfield, Oregon, be careful. Library fees are going to get you. And then the other one, I'd heard about this stupid ass argument before, but I finally ran into it on Twitter yesterday. Somebody tweeted out, every time I see all lives matter, I'm like, man, that creep even cares about pedophiles.
Oh, jeez.
And I simply asked them, isn't Black Lives Matter saying Black pedophile lives matter? And they're like, no, it doesn't say. It doesn't say all. I was like, oh.
Wait. They said specifically, no, it doesn't say all?
Yeah, their specific wording was, when I see Black Lives Matter, I don't see the all.
Me neither, which is a hilarious coincidence considering the fact that one of my biggest issues and the biggest argument that I've been having with Black Lives Matter supporters is it ain't true, or at least not to the degree that they claim it is. I'm like, certain Black Lives Matter, very specific lives, ones that are taken in very specific scenarios. Otherwise, they matter just about as much as they do to any typical person who is walking down the street. Like you don't give a fuck about Black lives. You give a fuck about politically driven Black lives, or politically taken Black lives. That's what you care about, because there is a difference. There's absolutely a difference.
Well, we saw that very well demonstrated during the Don Lemon Terry Crews interview.
Yeah, he said it specifically then too.
Terry Crews is like, all Black lives should matter. And he's like, look, if you want to start that movement, you need to just start that movement. And he's like, but you guys say Black Lives Matter.
Well, and that's a weird thing too in response, because Monkey, I told you how I feel about all lives matter in response to Black Lives Matter. But the general concept of all lives matter and the reason that is criticized is because it doesn't include Black lives. And I'm like, your Black Lives Matter doesn't include Black lives. Nope. So like, if that's your rebuttal as to why all lives matter is irrelevant, then you are also irrelevant.
And by doing that, you're also saying that only certain Black lives matter. So then it becomes absolutely relative who that Black life was.
Exactly.
at that point, George Floyd being your Black Lives That Mattered, his history of breaking into a woman's home and putting a gun to her pregnant belly becomes important. Because that little 8-year-old girl that you don't care about that died in Atlanta, she never did that.
Yeah.
So it literally becomes about how they died, not about their life.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I just that argument annoys the shit out of me. All lives matter means you're saying pedophiles matter. Well, either Black Lives Matter means you're saying pedophile lives matter, or you are literally saying that not all the missing the invisible words at the beginning is not all Black Lives Matter. Because it's either all or not all. Pick one. And if they were going to say, no, when we say Black Lives Matter, of course we're not talking about pedophiles. Then you have to say, oh, so you know the all lives matter weren't? But that's not what it's about. And they don't put that much thought into it. And instead it just becomes this, no, of course not all Black Lives Matter. I don't think that's the slogan. I've watched a lot of this shit. I haven't heard, not all Black Lives Matter. Not all black. That's not what they're chanting in the street. So anyhow, did you find your stuff, Scribbles?
Yes.
Go ahead.
All right. So the first one was a sort of coincidence of Twitter. I had 2 tweets in succession, right after the other earlier, just a little while ago. First one was from Chris Saliza, who was responding to someone who was doing a search on Google or something, and they typed in the word cake, and it listed off chocolate cakes, carrot cake, ice cream cake, crab cake, rice cake. And Chris Saliza says, rice cake isn't a damn cake. The tweet just following that was from Kate Kennedy, who had 2 pictures of her showing off her lady parts. And her comment was, it's actually cake.
What?
Yeah, you have to go. I mean, to understand the contest, you really have to go to my. For the sake of those who may, for those of you that may not be following Kate Kennedy on Twitter, I have blacked out the lady parts in question, but you know exactly what's going on there. But yeah, these 2 tweets right next to each other, and it almost forms a story. So you can find that on my Twitter feed right now. If you go there, scroll down a little bit, and then the tweet I made says my Twitter feed is a bastion of coincidence, and I tagged Kate in that one. Let's see. Then there was this exchange. So apparently there was some like one-on-one interview between Will Smith and his wife, Jada Pinkett, the other day in regards to their personal life. I don't understand. I don't know all the details, but apparently she had some sort of affair with some other younger guy, and that came out. So they decided to do a recorded interview with one another about their relationship, I guess. Anyway, the exchange that is immortalized in this 4-picture little panel thing, Will Smith says, "What do you feel like you were looking for?" And Jada Pinkett Smith says, "I just wanted to feel good. It had been so long since I felt good." And then there's this picture of Will Smith looking about the saddest you can imagine a man looking. And I don't know what the kind of life these people have, but that was some cold shit right there.
There's like a huge debate going on the internet about this stuff, and some people are like, I can't believe y'all are mad at Will, and I can't believe y'all are mad at Jada, and it's like men are treated like this and women are treated like that, and I'm just like, I don't give a fuck about these 2 rich people and their relationship.
Yeah. I mean, it's more one of those sort of cringe moment things by itself, but yeah, I couldn't care less about the trials and tribulations of those 2 people.
I feel bad for him. I mean,
I do. Yes,
for that to have happened in their relationship has got to be hard enough, and then they have to, or feel that they have to address it publicly. God damn.
Well, I don't know if them feeling that they have to address it publicly is more a reflection of their own sense of self-importance. But all that aside, no, I mean, on a basic human level, setting aside who they are and their quote unquote importance in the world, etc., just seeing that exchange and just the feels for Will at that point, just on that basis, were just like, damn, dude, that sucks. I mean, anyway. The other thing that came out today, there is a video apparently taken just minutes after the final shooting in CHAZ of those two kids in that white SUV.
Mm-hmm.
And the video shows them, the people involved, the security forces, I think I saw one of them, and they're saying, pick up the shells, leave no evidence. And then the person filming this at one point gets her own face on camera. And they're all talking about how, oh yeah, nobody saw anything. We can't be witnesses to anything. They were actually, as far as I could tell from the context, even though those two, at that point, I think those two kids are still dead in the car at that moment.
One's dead. The other one's not.
Yeah, one's dead. The other one's not. Sorry. And they're still disparaging those two kids having threatened their peace or something by driving donuts in some park or whatever it was. And so it's just the most bizarre thing, but it's also one of the most damning things, because if they can identify the people involved in this, not only those who actually shot the kids, but those that then came in and tried to clean up the crime scene and obstruct justice even further, I hope they find them, because that whole thing was just absolute madness.
Yeah, well, the police mentioned that what they saw of the crime scene was amazing. There were no shells. The inside of that car was completely cleaned out, except for the glass and blood. These idiots claim that these guys fired at them. The windows were rolled up. It's weird. You don't fire from inside of a car with the window rolled up. And if the window was down, the glass would have shattered into the car. They executed these kids.
Yeah.
Well, the one kid, and shot the shit out of the other, as a security force, because they were protesting police killing.
In slightly happier news, I came across, or I should say YouTube decided to tell me about, Rick Astley covering Foo Fighters' Everlong. And it's one of the most like just happy little brief cover videos, because Rick Astley has still got it. I tell you what, for all the jokes that he gets and for as much of a meme as he is, that guy can sing. I tell you what, that was fun. Also, on a side note, so I did a Familiar with the Matter many months ago, like last year, with a lady who was getting ready to start production on a trailer that was meant to be a sort of advertisement / prequel to a TV series they actually wanted to try to pitch for a fantasy cyberpunk sci-fi TV show called Chicago Shadows. Well, I interviewed her months ago when they had just gotten the funding through a Kickstarter thing for it, and talked about the plans and the preparation, all that stuff. Well, the trailer dropped today, finally, and I watched it, and it's really impressive. I mean, considering this is an independent project and everything else, it looks really good. And at some point in the very near future, I'm going to arrange with the creator, Sarah, if I remember correctly. I don't want to get that wrong, because I just watched it the other day. I see the names all the time, and I was like, anyway, I'm going to interview her again as a follow-up to find out, like, how did it go? What were the complications? What did you learn? That kind of stuff. So I'm going to do a Familiar with the Matter in the near future. Don't have a date for that yet. I got to coordinate with her to get that arranged. But yeah, I plan on doing that sooner rather than later. And otherwise, that is all I've got.
So,
all right,
Monkey, if we ain't got nothing else, Pat did ask a question over on Twitter about the whole Will Smith thing, and I wanted to see if you guys either answered it or had any opinion on it.
Please go ahead.
He was asking if you separate, rather being in a relationship or married, like you're separated, is it okay to have sex or seek out sex with somebody else?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it would depend on the circumstances of the separation and everything. But sure. I'm just thinking that I'm sure there are instances where it would make sense, respectfully or otherwise, to at least inform your partner of this, certainly after, if not before. Maybe if there's kids involved or there's some other thing. But Yeah, I mean, if you get back together and you're honest about what happened in between, then sure. If it's a separation that eventually peters out into a breakup, then who cares? But
Yeah, I would say no if you're still married. Yes, if you're not.
If it's a legal
Yeah.
separation, I would say sure.
Yeah.
If you guys just decided we need a little bit of space, I'm going to go stay at my mom's house for a while, no. But yeah, if you get a legal separation, and I don't know if they did or not, but yeah, I would say yeah, because that's one step from a divorce. Terry DeMonis, thank you. We're on a break. Don't get me started on that. So many people got that so wrong.
You know what? That's always been a thing that's been interesting to me, because it seems like a very common thing. Like a good majority of all the people that I've either associated with, everybody on TV and the media or whatever, it's a common thing. When people talk about it, like, yeah, we're on a break or whatever, that has never, ever happened to me. Like I've never taken a break in a relationship.
No.
We either broke up or that or we were together. And when we broke up, that was it.
Yeah, I don't understand that. Like, maybe we'll like each other in a few months.
I don't get it. I don't understand it. It's like, I don't like you now. I'm not going to it's probably not going to change a couple weeks from now.
I've had friends who have been in a long-term relationship with somebody and they hit some kind of rough patch of some sort or another. And for various reasons, like they just needed some space, they needed some time to get things figured out. Like I couldn't get into the specifics myself, but anyway, and I've seen them then like come back, reconcile, and just be as happy, if not happier, going forward. So it's not impossible. It's not an unheard of thing. It's not common. And of course, if something is bad enough to sort of separate you, I guess it depends on what it is. Either you can overcome it, or if you can't, then you can't. But admitting that you can't might be the tougher thing, especially if you've arranged some sort of like dependent relationship where you start rationalizing it like, oh, we're staying together for the kids or something like that. But I have seen it happen before and happen successfully. I don't know how common a thing that is, but it's not completely impossible.
I just saw something that I do want to bring up since we got a couple minutes left before. This lady tweeted this out. There's no fucking mystery around why so many women and girls don't realize they're lesbians till much later on in life, considering how little lesbian representation there is anywhere.
Oh.
Really noticing the gap: adverts, media, plots, advice, products, role models, fuck all. Do you need to see somebody else be a lesbian to be attracted to women?
From what I've heard, that's not how it works, but apparently that's how it works.
So we could get rid of all lesbians by just not showing lesbians anywhere?
That's the logic.
I had heard otherwise. I heard it was nature more than it was nurture, but what do I know? I guess
this honestly makes it sound like that it's, if you see it, then you're going to do it, rather than that's actually what you
monkey see, monkey do.
Instead of being born this way.
Yeah.
That's a bit of a ridiculous narrative there.
It's got 898 likes over on the Twitter machine. And this is from a Dr. Jessica Taylor, author of Why Women Are Blamed for Everything.
Oh, jeez.
She's a feminist psychologist with a PhD in forensic psychology, founder of Victim Focus.
Oh, let me guess. Women are blamed for everything, but men are responsible for everything.
Well, yeah. Typically when you say somebody was blamed for something, it's not because you're not saying they actually did it too.
Right.
Which is weird because you can blame something for some shit they did.
Right.
I just love that. They don't realize that's the part. Now, if she had said they don't come out or they're afraid to show it or something like that, okay, but they don't realize it.
They're just dumb, as you know.
All right. With that, guys, it's your time. Questions, comments, concerns, throw them in the chat now. We'll do our very best to get to them all. And yeah, we need you. Tell us what to talk about. Wouldn't that mean children raised by lesbian gay couples would then be lesbian gay themselves? No. Only if they're lesbian. That only is she didn't say gay. She said lesbian specific. So I'm guessing that's the only way that works. That's hurt my brain a little bit. I'm not going to lie. Because that goes against everything we've heard for decades now. And again, if she had said that differently, that they didn't come out or they were afraid to show it, that would at least be in line.
Well, it does seem... Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you first.
I was about to say there does seem to be another theme for 2020, and that's like reverting us back to like just kind of setting America back quite a few generations. That seems to be the goal of a lot of people. It's like, man, we've progressed far too quickly as we need to bring it back.
Yeah, I'm getting a little annoyed at the representation thing. It's getting a little overdone. I need representation. I can't be me.
I don't get why they don't just do it. Like it's one thing to constantly talk about it and talk about its importance or whatever, but nobody would really be tripping if it just happened and that was it. Like if people who they wanted to see in the media just started appearing more in the media, like there was no look at this thing we're doing, or we need to make incentives. Like they just did it, then it would just happen. But no, everything's a fucking spectacle. They got to make a big thing about it. They got to fucking put a sign that says token around their new token character to let you know that they specifically did this because they're a Goodman. And I'm just like, just fucking do it. Like it's fine. Just do it. I don't care. It's okay.
We just saw that Disney is partnering with Kaepernick.
Yeah.
To make new stuff. Kaepernick is a football player who's never shown any ability to do jack shit. He can't even play football really that well anymore, despite being pretty young.
Oh, this reminds me, there was I should have talked about this yesterday when it was on Twitter. So there's this movie out on Netflix now called The Old Guard, which is based on a comic book about they're basically like, think if a bunch of Highlanders got together and became like a little covert strike force guys throughout history, that kind of thing. Anyway, Charlize Theron stars in it, but the director, there's all this big headlines the last few days, like the very first female black director of a comic book movie. And this is what the director said. This is what the director said, quote, "It's important that films with black characters not just be called black films. We should be in every genre." And I said, yeah, remember when Blade was called a black film and Independence Day was called a black film and Lethal Weapon was called a black film? And if only black characters could be found in all genres, I mean, that just never happens.
The need to push that out there, the identity of it.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you who directs most movies I watch because I'm not one of those people who pays attention to the directors.
Right.
They could be blue for all I fucking knew.
I am still, if there's one thing that scares me more than anything else, it's the push for a positive spin on racial identitarianism. The idea that one skin color comes first and foremost and unifies anybody and everybody on the basis of that alone. Because last I checked, that was called racism. I just drives me nuts.
Ranting Monkey, how many lesbians did you watch before you became a lesbian? Oh, probably too many to count. A lot. It was all research, though. I wasn't sure if I was a lesbian or not. What do you think the outcome of President Trump granting clemency of Roger Stone for the Russia collusion hoax will be? Nothing. If Trump wins again, though, the Congress will throw a big fit about it. If Biden wins, it'll just disappear.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I mean, they'll whine about it during the election, and they'll probably try, if Biden wins, they'll probably try to remove Barr, and if they do, it'll be probably based on stuff around Roger Stone. But otherwise, yeah, nothing. They're not going to do anything to him for it. They're just going to go whine to the media about it.
It was his prerogative to do it. He didn't do anything illegal. It'll just be something that's complained about.
Did you see Undoom's tweet about the lady using her dog as a weapon? No, I didn't. What was that about?
Oh, yeah, I saw that. That was, you kind of have to see it to understand it. It's
okay,
really terrible.
I'll have to look that up later. Damn, chat jumped already. Oh, Lords, would you try a crispy bacon and pork cutlet sealed sandwich? It has the edges crimped down. A side of pickled chips and a Spider-Man glass of apple cinnamon juice. That doesn't sound like it would go well together. I would eat all of those things or drink the juice, but not all together. That doesn't sound good.
Yeah.
I'm down.
Oh, Lords, would you eat a mata with a side order of randomness and a slurry of functional metabolites?
What the fuck?
What is going on?
Chat has gotten weird, y'all.
Y'all are weird,
Gotten?
man.
All right.
Excuse me. Where'd that question go?
I don't know.
I know I saw one. It should be right up in here. We were asked if it was okay. There it is. Would it be wrong for a 42-year-old male to knock up a 23-year-old woman?
Wrong?
Wrong. It's not illegal.
I don't. I just on the basis of age alone, not necessarily, not at all, really. I guess it would depend on the relationship between the two. Are they father and daughter?
That's nasty.
Well, I need more information to tell you whether there's a moral quotient to this.
She's 5 years. Excuse me, into being an adult. She can make her own damn decisions. I don't care who she fucks.
I mean, Harrison Ford and Callista Flockhart, like whatever.
Would it be wrong for a 23-year-old dude to knock up a 42-year-old woman? Probably, because that's getting into the Downsy eggs at that point.
Oh no.
You have a little Downsy child. What? Lords of the Night SDA for a submarine sandwich, ham, turkey, or roast beef? Oh, if I'm just choosing one, I'll have ham, but I like to have all three, actually.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'd love like a club sandwich with all of them, but I'd probably go for a roast beef if I could only have one.
Turkey.
There you go. One for each.
Right.
There was a trailer of a movie called Black is King written by Beyonce, and it's a Disney film.
Yeah.
But no, Si.
Yep.
Well, we'll see if that dude can write movies. It keeps jumping. You guys aren't asking enough questions for me to not have to jump so much.
Are Chris Cross in the chat?
You need just a few more pop culture references.
I only have 3 jokes. I'm sorry.
What about Van Halen, man?
What about him? Wait. Do you mean David Lee Roth Van Halen?
Well, yeah.
Or Sammy Hagar Van Halen?
If you're talking about Jump, it's David Lee Roth.
Well, no, I was talking about Chris Cross.
And the reference was Jump, and that's why I said, what about Van Halen?
Does Chris Cross make them want to jump? Uh-huh.
I'm offended at you right now.
Hey, Pound Cake. Greatest video Van Halen ever put out. Pound Cake, because those girls are hot.
Lords of the Night, if the reason for a visa is no longer valid, should they go back to their home country? Yeah. And I know that's probably in reference to the college thing going on specifically, but yeah, and if any reason.
I'm still kind of torn on if no accommodation can be made for something outside of their control to be deported. It's not like they were choosing not to attend classes. They were told not to go, essentially. So I think there should be something like either assistance in getting home if they have to leave, or at least being given some kind of time to find an alternative that'll still fulfill the requirements of a visa, something like that.
Well, they do have time to do that. They can get into another college. This is actually why there was that scandal a while back, because there were kids who were kicked out of college for whatever reason, and instead of going to an actual college or going home, some jackass started a fake college.
Oh, sure. No, yeah, I'm not talking about
a whole bunch of kids
Yeah.
involved in that.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, I remember that story, and I'm not talking about like a scam college just to fill the requirement. I mean, it's, you know, these are unique circumstances. I would just hope that there's some possibility of either assistance or some time given or allowance given to come up with another solution, or some help or consideration if they do have to leave the country, that it's at least.
Fuck it, I'm okay with buying them a ticket and sending them on their way.
Yeah, I mean, it's something. I don't know. Like I say, kind of torn on the whole thing.
And I mean, it's not just that they can't go to class; it's also that they're taking more online courses than they're allowed to.
Well, but they have no choice but to. Do they?
That's sorry, I didn't write the law.
I know. I know.
And we have way too many people. We've made way too many exceptions for these laws anyway. We might as well not even fucking have them. Where are we at here? Everyone keeps pronouncing Kaepernick's name wrong. It's pronounced Colin Pepperneck. I'm pretty sure that's not right.
Yeah, I don't think that's true.
I submitted a news article about the abuse of dogs several days ago, but you didn't want to read it. Yeah, I'm not going to read a dog abuse one. Oh, is this the person who like used their dog and swung it at somebody?
Yeah, well, that was the video that, or the
oh
stuff
yeah, okay, I saw that.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it. It's just not something.
I didn't watch it.
But. Yeah, and I clicked it because, you know, morbid curiosity, but otherwise, yeah, I mean, it's animal abuse isn't really something that we're jazzed about talking about on the show, unless it's like completely unavoidable for some reason.
I wouldn't have watched that the one with the bird person in New York City, the bird watcher.
Bird person.
The bird watcher who the chick called the police on.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have watched that video if I knew what she did to that dog in it.
Oh, okay.
She was choking the shit out of that dog. No, I don't. Animal abuse and kid abuse, I don't deal with. It enrages me. Random says, I'm late, but did I really miss anything important? I mean, just something good to do with your life.
Just the show, whatever.
Furry Kitten says, how does the current flavor of identitarian politics work with dubbing form films or anime? Or are they all now banned? Ooh.
That is interesting. Satsu, any word from the community on that one?
No. If it's anything that directly benefits them and the things they like to do, then they'll overlook whatever. Because that's how it works.
With anime, isn't at least a lot of the companies, especially the ones out of Japan, Americans bitch and they're just like, go fuck yourself?
Yeah, they typically don't care. Most of the time, if it's a Japanese-based anime company and Americans have criticisms, they don't often give a fuck about what Americans' problems are. They're like, we don't care what you think. It's like, shut up.
We're doing it. Leave us alone.
Yeah, and they do whatever the fuck they want. And that's why a lot of that media and stuff still exists. That's why Dead or Alive still goes live, like the extreme beach volleyball and all that stuff, whatever. They're like, we're going to keep making these games. We don't give a fuck what you think. Because our audience likes them, and we only care about what they think. So
it's amazing. It's almost like they're catering to the people who actually care about their product.
Yeah. They tend to do that a bit more over there. Like they laser focus on the people who are purchasing the product, and they typically don't give a shit about anybody who isn't buying it, because why the fuck would their opinion matter? Has always been a thing that has been strange to me. It's like, I'm never going to buy this product because I don't care about it, but here's an extensive review on my thoughts on why it's bad and you should change it.
Right?
Like, fuck you. That is my response.
And it should be the response, because I mean, it would be different if it was your audience going, hey, look.
Yeah.
But it's not. So, Non-BT, thank you, Lords of the Night. Bad news. You've been abducted by mad scientists and turned into human-animal hybrids. Good news. You get to choose the animals. I'm going to be an eagle, a bald eagle, so I can fly. Gentlemen?
Well, I've always been a cat person, so I'll say like a Bengal tiger.
Is it just one animal, or was it a
One
fusion
animal.
of animals? Did I miss
One
it?
animal.
You just get one animal.
I don't know. A crow, because they black.
Wow.
And they're smart as fuck.
Did you guys see the video of that bald eagle carrying that shark?
No. What?
That shit was awesome. Somebody's filming this, and you see the eagle. He's got his wings spread, and you're looking at the top of him, and then he kind of turns a little bit, and the motherfucker's carrying a shark.
Wow.
He's just like,
America!
you the apex predator down there, bitch, but I'm up here.
You can't breathe up here, can you? Lords of Night, have you ever seen Train to Busan? Finished it today, and I hate the fat guy in the black suit. I've never watched it. I think both of these guys have.
Train to Busan is an excellent fucking movie. Go watch it.
I have not seen it.
Oh, I thought you had. Okay.
Nope. A YouTube friend of mine did a review of it a long time ago that I found very entertaining, but I never saw it.
It's so good. Squishy just watched it again the other day.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm. Just as good as I remember.
Isn't there a sequel?
Yes.
There's a sequel coming. There is a prequel out already, though.
What
But
was
it's
the prequel?
animated. The anime. It's called Soul Station.
There you go. So if you haven't seen Soul Station and you like Train to Busan, check that out. Oh, Lords, would you drink the Mississippi Queen from Regular Show? I have no idea what that is, so I'm going to say no.
Mississippi Queen. Do-do-do-do-do.
Thanks.
I don't put nothing in my mouth that I don't know what it is.
Mm-mm.
Sorry I didn't hear the whole show tonight. How is Lady Monkey doing? She's better. She still sounds like she's she sounds horrible.
Yeah.
But yeah, she sounds a little bit better, and she's moving a lot better. So
Good.
who's scarier, Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger, or Jason Voorhees? Michael Myers, because he was alive for most of what he did.
Yeah, probably.
Movie
It
monsters.
depends which movie we're talking about. The first Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy's pretty fucking scary.
He is, but I mean, it's still dreams, and
Yeah.
I'm more when it comes to being afraid of things, it's real things.
Okay. All right.
So yeah. And Jason just show him a picture of his mother and run. Lots of talk. That's good, but looking for questions for us as well. What would you do for a picture of Lady Monkey, myself, and midget dwarf strippers in bustiers, fishnet stockings, and high heels? I don't know how to answer that question.
What?
Yeah, I don't think there's a way to answer that question.
Ranting Monkey, were you aware 216 years ago today, Aaron Burr shot Alexander Hamilton? I wasn't.
Oh, yeah.
I did watch Hamilton finally last night.
And?
Oh, it was so good.
Yeah.
So very good. If you like musical theater and history, it is a must. And if you just like musical theater, it's great. If you just like history, it's good. It was fucking amazing. Did JoJo screw her presidential run with the BLM tweet?
Who?
No,
Joe Biden?
No, I think they're talking about Joe Jorgensen is her name. Are you talking about? I assume they're talking about the chick. I read her tweet yesterday. What was it? Where she did the "you got to be anti-racist" tweet thing. You have to be actively anti-racist.
Oh.
She's catering to what is assumed to be her base, because I'm quite sure there are no Republicans thinking about voting third party, or at least not many.
Yeah.
So I think she's right on base. She's fishing for the people who probably going to vote for her. So
she's running as a libertarian candidate.
I see.
She has no chance to be president.
No.
well, of course not. But at least she knows where she should be looking.
The Libertarian Party hasn't had a decent showing since 80? Was the last time it had any kind of relevance in the presidential election, and it might have been 84, but I think it was 80, and they got 8 or 9%, something like that,
Yeah.
of the national vote. So, Isn't it funny that anti can be defined as unlike the conventional form, unconventional fascist, unconventional racist? I guess, I mean, if that's one of the definitions of it, that's interesting to put it that way, to use it that way. I did see a great defund argument the other. It doesn't mean take away all the money.
Oh, Jesus.
What about when they say abolish with it? Does it mean it then?
No, abolish doesn't mean abolish. Clearly, you're just a right-wing conspiracy theorist who uses the definition of real words to straw man other people's argument.
Yeah, like collusion. Collusion's not a legal term. What happened was conspiracy and a coordination. Like,
The Seattle is about to become a major shit show because of all of that stuff. They're going to vote to reduce. They are going to reduce their police budget by half.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought they were just. That's confirmed now.
It's what they've said they're going to do. The council has a veto-proof. The ones who have committed to that.
Yeah.
It's enough for a veto-proof pass of that measure.
Oh, like the mayor would actually veto it in the first place.
She said she would. She said she was not going to. Yeah, she's not going to. She's not dumb. They made it to her house.
Well, yeah, that was the moment of change.
She's like, oh shit.
But if they have a veto proof, it doesn't matter whether she would or wouldn't. So there you go.
So they're going to be able to override her, and their $409 million police budget is going to be cut in half. Part of that will be saved because under the police right now, the 911 system is part of their budget, but that will be moved to someone else. And then they're going to give some money to a community campaign for, what is it? Imagine Life Beyond Police, I think is what it's called. So part of it's going to go to a commercial campaign, and then the rest is going to go to lowering rent.
Yeah, and all the cops that end up losing their jobs or just outright quitting because of this, just wait for all of the private security firms they're going to start up to supplement what the cops aren't doing for businesses that can afford it.
Business just be like, fuck it, I'll leave.
That too, yeah.
It should be interesting. I'm of the mind that Scribe takes whenever he's talking about, whoever's going to be the president. If they're going to do it, I'm hoping that it's successful. I'm like, okay, I hope something good comes out of it.
Yeah,
but I don't think it will. So
just consider this. They only shut down the one precinct for 3 weeks, and the average 911 response calls went from, it was like 5 minutes up to 16 minutes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine what happens when you get rid of half of your police force.
Yeah. No, there is no, I mean, when it comes down to, do I hope a candidate does a good job, even if it's somebody I don't want in the office, that kind of thing. It's an inevitability that I just have to live with and just keep my fingers crossed.
Sure.
Yeah. Subtracting police officers from a major metropolitan area out of an ideological drive. No, there is no upside to that at all.
And absolutely no proof anywhere that this is going to have positive results.
Well, I mean, the proof that it won't is right in their backyard, and we watched it take place a lot. Yeah, and so it makes absolutely no sense. Just no sense at all.
Look, I'm gonna put on my conspiracy helmet again and say that this is all a part of their plan. They know it's going to fail miserably, but the numbers that they have been complaining about and the things that they have been bitching about these disparate neighborhoods and stuff aren't necessarily high enough to raise the alarm that they're trying to get. And I personally believe they're trying to make it that way. They're like, we haven't really been able to prove it. And the numbers don't really say that people should be panicking. We need to somehow influence this situation.
Well, if that is true, it is the most reckless and cynical possible option they could have gone for, because in the interim, while they try to prove their point, if that is the case, people are going to die that didn't have to.
Yep.
People are going to be victimized that didn't have to in one way, shape, or form. And I just do not understand, after their own backyard example of what happens when you do this on a micro scale, 6-block radius. Yeah, let's reduce that for the entire. I don't even know how big Seattle is, but it's got like how many people are in that town? Like, it was like somebody said it was like 4 million or something. I don't even know if it's that high, but it's a lot of people.
Real quick,
go ahead.
I'm sorry. I got a Streamlabs quite a while ago that I did not get a notice for. I got 2. What the hell? This is Kyle. Thank you. Said hello, chat people in LotN. Hello, sir. He said that way back at 9:49, and just a little while ago at 10:39, Mr. Scott asked, "What question would you like Trump to ask Biden?" I think he should ask, "Is Joe Biden your wife?" I bet he would say yes.
Oh, I was thinking of like the state population. Yeah, the state of Washington's population is 7 million. It was it 700 something? I don't know. Never mind. I was told there'd be no math.
Yeah, it's a very bad idea.
Yeah.
Oh, Lords, would you rather sing the entire soundtrack of Fiddler on the Roof? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't ask his question. If I was him, I would simply ask about the crime bills. With all the stuff about how bad police are. Joe, didn't you put more cops on the street? Didn't you help Kamala put a whole bunch of black folks in jail?
Well, he also specifically stated, as our friend quoted so lovely for us, he does not want to defund the police. So,
Yep. Crystal Liza made sure to say that because Joe Biden represents everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Lords, would you rather sing the entire soundtrack of Fiddler on the Roof for 3 crates of olive oil, or do the entire floor routine of Dirty Dancing for 50 pounds of lobster? I don't like lobster. I have no real need for olive oil, but if I'm going to do one of those, I'd rather sing. I like to sing.
I'd sing.
Yeah, singing is much easier than dance.
Plus, I'm crippled, man. You know how hard it'd be to lift someone? Oh, Lords, did you see that No Game, No Life, asked Sassy, was removed from Amazon?
What is that?
Oh, that's an anime.
Oh, I did not know what it was.
Oh my god. Somebody posted a video of a crosswalk with a rainbow on it.
Uh-huh.
And there's cars just driving over it, like on each lane, just constant cars. And it was like, witnessed multiple hate crimes in Camden today.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Ludes, Scribe has been spending quite some time with dog, cat, fox in his moon base, but makes me think, is it really a dog, cat, fox, or is it a dog, cat, vixen?
Is a dog, cat what?
Vixen.
It's a dog, cat, fox.
There you go.
It's no. You go to DeviantArt for whatever you're looking for. I'm here in my moon base with my pet, who is an animal that is a pet. It's bizarre. You're weird. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Did any of you see Milano retweeted an old woman speaking about whites are racist? Milano made it out that she was an expert. I didn't see anything from her. I'll have to check it out. Just curious, you say you have Indian blood, Monkey. Do you know or care what you have? Is being Irish more important? Do either matter as you are an American? I don't care. Neither matters because I'm American.
That's not good enough, Monkey.
That's just fact, man. That's science.
Oh, my God.
Has the test come back on Lady Monkey yet? No, 2 days is what they told her.
What are they testing for?
COVID.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah. Oh, Lords, the Bourne Identity, the Bourne Supremacy, or the Bourne Ultimatum? Ooh.
I think the first one is still the best.
Yeah, Identity.
The second one's really good. After the second one, it started to really lose momentum. And then when it was just like Jason Bourne or whatever, that one was completely pointless. The Bourne, what was the one where Jeremy Renner was in it? The sort of
I don't
offshoot.
remember the name.
Was that the Bourne?
Something.
I forget what it was. That was pretty bad too. The first two are great though, I think, as a combo.
I actually like the third one better than the second one.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. There was a question right there for Satsu and it jumped. My chat's racist apparently. Satsu, could you tell me how much it would cost to commission you to make a cooking video? The video would be make 3 dishes of your choice from Food Wars.
How much it would cost?
He wants to commission the video.
I mean, if you request me to do it, then I'll definitely look into doing it. I won't charge you for it, but if you would like to donate,
He's looking
to
to sponsor, dude.
well, no, I get it, but if you would like to donate to me for that, then I will take whatever you send me. So
how about this? How about this? You choose the dishes, you figure out what the cost of the supplies would be, and then just make it that.
How about this? He makes the videos, and you can send the sponsorship money to Monkey. Monkey.
And he's going to do
All
it for free. Monkey will just pimp him out.
What, ladies and gentlemen, we are past our time. Thank you so much for the questions. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the donations. You guys are amazing. Don't forget, we're going to be over on 2 Cents Plus right after this with some more 7 Days to Die. And this time it's actually going to happen. Yay!
yeah.
There we go. Scribbles, you got anything going on?
I intend to do another TEDx tomorrow. Not quite sure which one yet. And just keep an eye on my Twitter, and I'll announce it when I do.
Cool
Who
beans.
asked that question, by the way?
James Colley.
Okay. James, message me if you're on. I forgot which media you're on, but whichever one, hit me up.
He's on the Twitter machine, so hit him up.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for coming. Satsu and Scribbles, always a pleasure, gentlemen.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, we'll see you next time. Have a good night.
Bye,
Bye, guys.
Your lives make me sad.